So today I'm shooting an individual. It's a casual shoot, but we're gonna slip in a Halloween costume like this. That's this time of year, and I love it. There's some unique costumes. This is a homemade one, so I'm looking forward to this. Anyway, we're gonna use the ZF, but I'm also bringing out the D200. Guys, I haven't used this thing for a while. I love this camera. It's a 10 megapixel old 20-year-old camera. I know it was born before most of you watching, or some of you watching at least. I know a lot of you guys have used this before. I still have my D1X as a matter of fact, but I'm going to use the 51.4D lens and the 105 2.5. And I'm just going to mix in the images back and forth in between the ZF and the D200. I'm not going to tell you which ones were, it's because it really doesn't matter. Images are images. If they look good, what else matters? So let's get into the shoot, see how we do. This should be a lot of fun. Let's see if you can tell which ones are which. So I've been using this new light for quite a few shoots now, in quite a while. The light quality is expected. It's just good from these lights. The surprising part was the price for the power, because I thought it was going to be a lot more. Genuinely, when I looked, I was kind of surprised because this is a 500-watt light and it's a GVM, but I want to show it to you really quick. I'm not going to go into details because that's not what I do here. I'm going to show you this in a shoot and show you how it works. I have it in the 120 softbox. It's the GVM SD500B AIO. I don't know what the hell the names mean. I wish I did, but I just don't. So that's a close-up of it. That's the back of it. And here's the power cord that goes right into the wall, which means what? There's no ballast. So the last one I had of these, it had the ballast, and you guys remember how incredibly heavy both units were. I just thought it was ridiculously heavy. This unit, it has weight to it. It is metal. It's built like a tank. The yoke for this thing, it just holds. They did everything right with this. And what's surprising to me is these were the less expensive lighting brands for how long? And I've had these from their beginning. The beginning ones were crap. The light color was shit. They were all plastic. Just like Godox has gone up and up in their strobes. And they started off as that entry-level point brand, but then they went up in quality more and more each time. And now they can compete with any Pro Series out there. This same thing with GVM, but the thing that shocked me is I was thinking this is going to be $700-800 for this unit. It is so much less for a 500-watt unit. And this is not a portable light for me. For a lot of you, this will be, but remember, I'm just photo. For video guys, I'm sure they don't care about carrying this stuff. They're used to it. I'm not. But this thing in the studio has been working fabulously. I have it on the roller stand, so it's nothing to move around and to use. I had a couple times where it disconnected from the app, but now it seems pretty solid and pretty steady on the app. It just works. I get bicolor lights for these all the time because I just never use color with my main lights like this. The fan is pretty quiet and I can hear it here, but I doubt if you can hear it. It's just a nice light. And I don't want to go into, I'm sure they want me to go into tech details and all that kind of crap, but I don't want to do that. I just want to show you the images from it. I'll share the images and the settings I was able to get with this softbox. And like I said, I've been using this for quite a few shoots and even some that you've seen on this channel. But before I say anything about it, I just want to make sure everything was going to work. The app was going to settle out and work. And they're just dependable, great lights in power for price. I don't think there's anything that can beat it right now. I really don't. They're really inexpensive. I was shocked when I saw the price. Honestly, I really was. I know another LED. I show a lot of LEDs in this channel because I like playing with light, no matter if it's strobe or LEDs. I love light. And this shot was shot at ISO 100, wide open on the lens. I'm not going to tell you what wide open, at 1/500th of a second in a large softbox. That's why I wanted to show this. That's why I was excited to show this light. Now, I've used it for at least 10 shoots prior to showing it to you because I really wanted to test this thing out and see how it was. And, you know, like the app issue, it only happened once or twice for me, where it disconnected. But since then, it's been, you know, solid on the app. So I don't have a problem with it. So like I can, shut it off on the app, leave the studio, come back, and it just picks it right back up again. I also unplugged it a couple times and plugged it back in, and then the app picked it up. So I'm okay with that.
And if it does lose, it's just resetting the Bluetooth, which, takes a minute and a half, but I bitched through it because I had to reset the Bluetooth. Anyway, being able to shoot at ISO 100, even though it's wide open on the lens, at 500th of a second, so I don't have to worry about camera shake with an LED, in a giant softbox like this is everything. And because it is a giant softbox, she didn't squint with the light. It's not as in your face bright, but it's bright enough to get that kind of setting on the camera, which I absolutely love. So I know a lot of you love to shoot wide open on your lenses. And let me just say, like, you can go down to 1.8, 1.4. When I was when I stopped down just a little bit, I took down the shutter speed to 2/50th of a second, but I was still wide open and it's still at ISO 100. So that's why I love this so much. Now, on the ZF, I'm shooting the 40 millimeter Voigtlander 1.2. Again, if you haven't tried that lens, if you're a ZF shooter, get that lens. Well, I guess with any Z camera, it's fantastic. But that lens was literally made for that ZF. It is, for those of you who love the good looking lens, the aesthetic of it, that is the lens to buy. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's a shorter lens. Has a little bit of girth to it. It just looks perfect on the ZF. I can't push that lens enough. It's absolutely beautiful. At 1.2, it gives you that gorgeous rendering with some character. Down to f2, it's tack sharp. It's wonderful. I just wanted to tell you that. Now, this LED, by the way, the reason I was so excited to show this on all the other LEDs that I show is because this is a 500-watt unit. It's giving me settings like that in a softbox, and it's $389 the last time I checked on their website. Now, I don't have an affiliate link. I have no skin in this game. They did send me this light, to try, and I was honestly going to bypass it. But when I put it in this large softbox and that got those kind of settings, I was really impressed. But I was still like, a lot of people can't and don't want to, spend the kind of money that a 500-watt LED gets. But when I saw it was $389 with a softbox, the last time I checked, now it may change by the time you guys see it, but that's incredible. It really, really is. So if you're looking for that kind of light, but just don't want to spend the money, this is the way to go. And I'm telling you, this is a solid build, it's a pro unit that works. That's inexpensive. I mean, a 500-watt unit and others are, $800-900. This was $389 on sale. Even at the regular price, it's a good deal, but on sale, $389 with a free softbox. I don't know how long it's going to last. Again, it's not an affiliate link. I'm just giving you the link to their site. But go check it out if you're looking to get a 500-watt unit like this, because this is impressive and it's a lot of fun. Oh, so while I'm rambling here, I threw a light behind her just for a backlight, because she was all in white and I wanted to make the backdrop as white as I could without having to go into post-production. And I threw in fog just for a cluttered, hazy kind of look behind her. It's not doing a lot, but it's doing enough to make it so I don't have to do extra work in post-production. And it gives a fog around her. And I wanted to screw with you guys, with the D200 and the ZF. So you really don't know what I'm using, or when I'm using it. Now, I may trick you and throw in some mismatched pictures, because if you get to see the camera in the shot, you may think, oh, well, obviously that's the ZF. Well, it may not be, because I may have switched, because I did a couple side by sides for you as well. So you have to just guess and see which ones I'm using and which ones I'm not. But I did screw with you. I just want to let you know that. And there's no point to this. It's just to say, I'm using a 10.1 megapixel alongside a 24 megapixel brand new camera, 20-year-old CCD versus, a new CMOS 24 megapixel. It's fun to play with. And, I love the CCD sensors. I always have. Every picture in my house that I have in my house right now is from a 2.1 megapixel CCD. They're all 11 by 14 and 116 by 20, and they look fabulous. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the shoot. I thought this was a lot of fun. Thanks for watching as always.